I promise you, I will teach you in this video how to learn anything you want in just 20 minutes per day. There's a secret called micro-learning, and it's my job to teach you how to do it in this video. Stay till the end. How did it all start? As some of you know that I am a doctor, and during my medical training, I didn't only do medicine. I learned some coding like Python, C++, and R, as well as some statistics like 2-3 languages, playing a second instrument, making these videos and video editing, social media, many other things. No, it's not to brag, but to tell you that I have learned something that helped me learn new skills while doing medical school. And I'm sure many of you also has such skills. The technique that I'm talking about is micro-learning. Many of the ideas from this video are from a book called Micro-Learning: New Approaches to a More Effective Higher Education by Eugenia Smirnova-Trybulska. Anyway, you can find this book. So what's the idea behind this micro-learning? Maybe your brain is not made to learn for long hours. Maybe your brain is not made to sit in a classroom for 1, 2, 3 hours per day. Maybe your brain is already saturated with information by 20 minutes to 25 minutes. No, I'm not saying that the classes are bad or this is the only way to learn. But if you are already learning a lot in class and during your studies and university, you don't have a lot of mental capability to learn something on the side. But life is nice and there are a lot of interesting things you can learn, still learn. You are capable of doing that. So here comes this micro-learning. You can reach within 20 minutes of focus your almost maximum capacity of learning new things at that moment. So you can maximize your learning experience on another topic or subject within just 20 minutes or 30 minutes per day, which means you don't need more than 20 to 30 minutes every day of learning a new language to reach a good level after some time. You need 3 things. This, like 20-30 minutes per day, consistency, and the right strategy. What to study during these 20-30 minutes. So to compare the traditional ways and the micro-learning, in the traditional ways, you used to go to the class for 1-2 hours and you're wandering for more than a third of it. Your brain is in idle mode. While in the micro-learning, you focus 20-30 minutes, one concept at a time and one key point. You take one key element, you master it in these 20-30 minutes. You don't leave without really learning something new. So instead of reading like 50 pages of a book about neuroscience, you watch a 7-minute video about how neurons fire, followed by a quick quiz or 1-sentence summary you write down. That's micro-learning. And trust me, I really have experienced this, and sometimes it's even more efficient than anything else that I have done during my medical training. And I'm sure some of you have already experienced this, probably randomly. And if you don't trust me on that, I'm gonna show you some statistics and real nice numbers about that. The retention rate is more than 80% in micro-learning, while with the traditional one is between 20 to 30%. Even the completion rate is much higher. So for you to complete this course of micro-learning and be consistent with it, it's more than 90% with micro-learning, while in the traditional way, it's almost like 30 to 40%. And definitely the study time is like 60% less with the micro-learning. This goes without saying. The engagement, how much your brain is active and trying to be engaged in this material, of course, in the micro-learning is much more engaged, more than 70%. And there's a study also who compared people who studied in a micro-learning way or the traditional way. The micro-learners, they were scoring much higher on quizzes. Not by much, but by like 25%, which is considerable. And even there were some positive comments about confidence boost while you learn in this micro-learning way. Probably because you feel that you know the subject much sooner and you know well about this small topic. So in simpler terms, micro-learning isn't just a better method, it's a scientific cheat code for your brain. Now, how to start micro-learning step by step. Let's say you're convinced and you want to start it just right after this video. Step 1. Break your material into micro chunks. Turn each small concept into a single goal in itself. Give it that much importance. Example, instead of understanding the heart physiology altogether, try to understand only the function of the SA node. Number 2, study only in short sessions. Use, for example, the Pomodoro technique, maximum of 10 to 15 minutes with a repetitive cycle like 2-3 cycles. which adds up to around 35 minutes. And each session focus on only one mini topic. Be well engaged with it and give it your all. Number 3, now you're gonna tell me that maybe I'm gonna forget what I have just learned. This is why I always go back to spaced repetition. Go back to your spaced repetition and active recall way of reinforcing what you have just learned. What I personally do after each session of microlearning, I put like a small set of questions and I try to answer what I have just learned. And then I repeat that in like 2-3 days and maybe a week. And finally, step number 4. As much as it might sound simple, it's one of the most important steps. You create a one-line summary of what you have learned in your own words. This engages your brain. It forces your brain to make links of what you have just learned and actively come up with one-line summary. And number 2, as I just mentioned, you create 2 to 3 questions about the topic that you have learned so you can answer these questions later on. Number 3, just in case you forgot, a small link or label where you can review the topic again. Some additional and very useful tools are YouTube videos, some short YouTube videos, flashcard apps, summarized readings, or your own voice memos. So now the question, should you change altogether the way how you study, or you can integrate this microlearning into something that is already established? Well, it all depends. Is your system working already? Does it get you good results? And are you achieving some form of mastery with your already established system? If yes, then you don't have to change everything. You can just integrate this microlearning. Maybe you can learn something additional, a language or another topic, philosophy, I don't know, in addition to what you are already mastering. So you can use this microlearning as a way to just add some skills in an easy manner. But if your already established system is not working, then it's time to change probably everything. Probably it's time to change how you tackle your learnings, your topics, how you're gonna start doing everything. So maybe it's now the time to integrate microlearning in everything. Watch one video, write one takeaway, quiz yourself after, and review the next day. You might be studying 3 hours per day and still failing. Switch to microlearning. Why not? Study maybe 90 minutes in total per day and actually remember things. You will feel like you are finally in control. So what's the science behind it? How does neuroscience explain that? To put it in simpler terms, do you know what is the RAM, RAM, in a PC, in a computer? Well, it's like the short working memory. You cannot overload it. And this is the case with your brain. You cannot overload it with information. You can flood it. You cannot do that. Or else it will just throw away things. So you can fill your brain with 20 to 30 minutes. Then you have to rest. You learn something and then you fill it again and again. So the good things about microlearning, it decreases the cognitive overload and it uses the active recall, which both will strengthen your long-term memory. And in fact, these frequent small wins will trigger dopamine, which is gonna make learning a nice experience for you and for your brain. And your brain craves closure. And with microlearning, you can achieve this closure. Now you don't have any excuse. See, I told you, this is a short video where I taught you how to do the microlearning, plus at least I introduced this topic for you. So maybe you can do your own research now. This is a game changer for anyone, no matter your age. If you want to learn something new, this is one of the key components you can use and you can master almost any topic with it. It is scientifically proven. And now, if you want to become an A student, the only 2 books you need are in this video.